Hi, everybody. So, before I launch into the topics today, just a quick trigger warning. I don't want anyone to be under the misapprehension this is an impartial channel, because it isn't. No, 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 no. On this channel, we do not approve of the President of the United States' current handling of anything. And if you do, this week should have been enough. That weird statement he kept coming out with, which was he doesn't like tests. Tests are overrated. If you do more tests, you get bad numbers. So we should do fewer tests and hide the bad news. If he was any sharper, he'd cut himself, wouldn't he, really? It's mind-bending. So it just proves he has an emotional age of about 8 and an IQ of -4. To have this man with the power he has, let me tell you, the rest of the world is mesmerised by how hideous the whole situation has become. But here we are, we're batting for you, America. Roll on. November is all you can hope and pray, really, really, really. So we're going to start with the US relationship with China. So like everything else, it flip-flops. Xi Jinping was Trump's best friend for a while, and now he isn't, and could be good tomorrow. Why? Tell me, please, people, tell me, why is no one bringing up Ivanka having the 5 trademarks in China that are like hen's teeth, really hard to get? How has that not been brought up? They just let people go for Biden and Hunter Biden. What about Ivanka in China? Not to mention the voting machines. Please. All right. So this is the US relationship with China, let's just say, over the summer. Can't go too far ahead with any of this because the world changes. So what's happening? The US relationship with China. I'm using the Russian cards. We're being very international today. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, all right. Now, 2 of Pentacles. Both sides are juggling this relationship because outside of the Yeti, there are people who are trying to stop the blowing up of this relationship. And so the 2 of Pentacles is juggling and manipulation. But in this card, it's also hiding the face, you see, with the chair, hiding the face from the light. So neither side is being particularly upfront. What's the challenge they face? The 9 of Cups. The challenge is they could both lose to some extent. You'd have to put your money on China surviving better than the Yeti in terms of the near future. But they both want to bring their people along with them, and China is better placed to do that. The challenge for the Republicans, as well as Donald, is to bring the people along and convince them that this is the right thing to do. Why don't we just poke the dragon in the eye and hope for the best? I mean, the stupidity knows no bounds. Okay, past actions. The 10 of Swords. This is, I think, representing the tariffs. The tariffs, the Republicans, who were allegedly anti-tariffs, let him go ahead with the tariffs. And now America is sort of perishing on the rocks of the tariffs, and they haven't even fully kicked in yet. So although anyone could have said this was a really unwise move, no one can talk to the Yeti because he doesn't listen, he doesn't read, he doesn't take in information, even in the form of visual flowcharts. So there's no way of getting through the skull. And now this is affecting farmers, particularly the agricultural sector, but also consumers generally. All right, this is the current thinking on this issue, the chariot. So both sides want to see a bit of movement. Both economies have taken a bashing, well, everyone's economy has taken a bashing. So people are very focused on how to get their economies back and running. And one of the ways to do that isn't sending everyone back and threatening them if they don't go back, they lose everything. So this is the rush, I think, for both of them too. I think China's probably rushing it a bit, and I think the US is certainly rushing it. And of course, everyone else will be blamed, but in fact, it's too soon. Okay, what's the advice? The conflict. Stop trying to win. China will always play the long game, and if something takes 500 years or 1,000 years, that's okay. And we're used to thinking 6 months is a long time, 4 years is a long time. No, it's not. So we're operating literally in parallel concepts of time here when you're dealing with China. Now, Australia, I have to point out, which is where I am for new viewers, we've followed America into every war, every conflict. I'm sure most people aren't aware of this, but we have. And we've done the same this last 2 weeks with China, our biggest trading partner. Let's just follow in the klutz, stumbling around, right? Like a kid's first outing on roller skates. It's just crazy. Stop the conflict because no one is going to benefit. Trump's run out of grown-up supporters. He now only has, I'll be kind, fellow travellers who are inadequate business people who sort of think his ideas are in some way defensible. But the moral of this story is end the conflict before it becomes a worse conflict. Now, this is in the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the equivalent of the Hierophant. Again, I think this is both countries. You know, this is the pandemic swirling around or whatever the issues are for everybody, and everyone's just clinging on to their little bit above water. So in terms of the atmosphere, people are coming, I mean, people at ambassador level and that high diplomat level and high secret intelligence and all of that, even they are operating from these positions of fear. And that's never the smartest or strongest position to be in, just trying to bat away the birds of prey. It's not a strong position, it's a desperate position. And the outcome. So this is an ace of swords. I think sanity will prevail. There will be some clarity. Hopefully on the other side of an election, you would have to hope, wouldn't you? There will be some more clear thinking on this issue. In other words, on the upside, I don't think China is going to completely wipe out the US debt that it owns and really pull out its big guns. I think it would rather use economic diplomacy and do it that way. But I think sanity will prevail further down the track, but that requires two sane parties, and at the moment there isn't. So there you go. Now, speaking of Australia too, Trump has told us that he doesn't want our contribution to the fighter jets. This has all been contracted. It took 5 years to make this contract. Personally, I think they spend way too much money on these huge military purchases that are obsolete by the time they come on stream and cost an absolute fortune. But nonetheless, he's saying he wants it all to be built in the US. Well, it can't be because the actual equipment that is needed is not being produced there. You'd have to start from scratch. It would take probably 10 years to get up to scratch. I mean, just another nonsense bit of parochial fire up the base rubbish, you know, that passes as a presidential sprouting. Oh my word. Now, I wanted to look at Justice Roberts, who's been very disappointing, because people kept saying, oh, well, you know, he's not the worst of the conservative judges, you know, he'll stand by what's right and the law's important to him. But he's behaving like a potted plant, isn't he? He's just behaving, he just may as well be parked in the corner with a bow around his neck. He came out and said, oh, well, I couldn't really break a tie. It's the only reason you're there, love. That's the whole point. You studied for all those years and you spent a lifetime building up your career so you could actually break a tie. What? Why don't they just have a three-legged race and see who wins? I mean, what has happened to the system? So let's look. What's the problem with Justice Roberts? What's he afraid of? What's going on with Justice? Is he afraid of tweets? Surely. That's too pathetic to contemplate. God, I am being hostile today. Justice Roberts. Oh. Well, he is freaked out, much more freaked out than I thought. Totally freaked out. He's been sent messages. He's been sent messages. He is conflicted in himself because he's not happy with being a pot plant. He actually has got an opinion. I think he's been seriously not got at in terms of being bent, but just saying back off. Allegedly. This is my humble opinion. But he's conflicted about that. And then the Seven of Chalices, he's backed the wrong horse. By bowing down to the pressure, he has left the judicial system basically undefended. Oh dear, that's not good. I didn't think, I'll just do a clarifier on that Seven of Cups. What was that? That was a surprise, I have to say. Okay. Justice Roberts clarifier, Seven of Cups. The consultant. The Sibylla says this is the consultant. This is who you go to for advice. Maybe. Let me do another letter. Yes, I think the nice way of saying it was he was consulted. I don't spell it out in the form of a letter or an email. I don't think it was even face-to-face. Okay, now we have to keep our finger on the pulse of what's going on. Didn't you love the protest by the truck drivers? And Trump saw it as a pro-him rally. I'm going to do a reading just on truck drivers because they're frontliners too. They're going in and out of these red states. They're not getting access to enough tests. Like construction workers, it's the canteens and the loos. It's the same with truck drivers. It's the truck stops as well, should be very well vetted, and I suspect they're not. But their pay has gone down. That was another figure too I saw somewhere. 1 in 4 jobs that still exist have been made to take a pay cut. So let's look at truck drivers. They're frontline. They should be tested really every week. Truck drivers. Okay. Well, I think that's why I'm picking up on their pain and their frustration. This is really difficult stuff. Okay. Why do you work these hugely long antisocial hours and stuff? It's for the money, and but this is a bigger picture because it's the Ten of Pentacles. It's keeping the country moving. So it's sort of, there's that altruistic sort of side of it too. Each driver individually is working for themselves, their families, but in the bigger picture, it's keeping, now there are so many planes grounded, it's trucks that are keeping the money circulating at all. So they're very valuable. Well, how are they being treated? They're being treated as hostages. Why were they protesting? Because their wages had been cut and they're fending off everybody. There's more and more and more demands on their time and their services, but we'll just pay you less because we can. Look at this. Financially out in the cold, emotionally feeling like the forgotten ones, the 2 5s, right? So they're not happy. I'm going to do a big up to all the truck drivers out there. Look, you know, we have to respect everyone who's putting their life on their line doing that. There might be some hardcore Trump voting, dare I say, redneck guys out there in the big rigs, but there are also other guys just wanting to look after their families and make a go of it. So off you go. People should support them too and demand more tests. Okay, now what else I was going to say? Oh, guys, please, any examples of barter that you are doing or you've heard of, let me know, because I love the idea of shifting more and more into the barter economy even after things open up. So I'm just asking you to let me know. So if there's examples of you dropping food to someone and someone else is offering you a haircut later or something, any form of barter I'm interested in. Okay, I'm going to have a look quickly here on veterans. I was reading some disturbing reports during the week that they were given the unpronounceable, what is it? Hydroxychloroquine. Is that true? What's happening with the veterans being subjected to this untested treatment? Okay. Amash, of course, has come and gone, which is why I didn't want to bother reading with him. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. I think we all know vets in every country aren't treated as well as they should be. And I know because I'm a vet's daughter and I've spent 5 years in a war hospital as a visitor every day of my childhood. And I know from the readings I do for vets on this channel and stuff, how people are treated medically and in terms of housing and in terms of adequate mental health support. All of that is not up to par. And so I was really vexed when I saw this particular article on the abuse of this drug, because it had a high rate of deaths that followed. And you can't help but think that's because all those supplies, when Trump was going, this drug's a game changer and all of that, people went and bought lots. Then they couldn't sell it because the world woke up that it was untested, and then when it was tested, found to be dangerous. So how did so many of it find its way into veterans' medical facilities? And this is the person who speaks up and speaks out. I think there's going to be a new spokesperson, might be a man, might be a woman, a spokesperson for veterans who's going to capture the public imagination. I mean, this goes back to those whole Tuskegee 666 experiments and stuff in the 60s. It's really bad, but it's like one extra thing. And I think a new person is going to emerge who's going to get it and be able to get it through to the public. Ace of Wands bodes well for a new start and a new approach. They should be hauled over the coals for this. Group work. Veterans need to work together with other groups because you can't just park people who have a service background to the side and make no attempts to integrate people back into society and value what people have learnt in the services for more mainstream employment and so forth. This, I think, is getting a more active engagement of vets, medical people, legal people, business people, and the whole public, i.e. families of vets and so forth. It's more than 3, I suspect. More people working together, because it's often talked about, but it doesn't translate into anything. I think this is quite optimistic. And it's time. Wheel of Fortune. It's absolutely time. Every country does this. Oh, we love and support our vets and thank you, and then goes and kicks them in the teeth, right? And so I think it's time is what I'm hearing here. It's time to revisit everything, how veterans are treated in terms of housing, support, and all those other issues. And I think it's the misuse, deliberate misuse of this drug that's going to trigger it. So it might not happen in the next couple of months. This could even be next year. But I think there'll be a really big push to change that. All right, guys. I love you so much. So keep the comments rolling, the thumbs up. I'll be in touch. Bye now.